Hello, my friends. Let's talk about the astrology for the new moon in the sign of Leo. It's early in the morning on August 4th, backed right up to Mercury stationary retrograde, as well as Venus entering the sign of Virgo. Lots of astrology words there. Let's talk about what they mean for you and me. Very logical, very practical applications of how to use this new moon. So I'm going to share my screen with you and let's get started. This is what that chart looks like for the new moon in my latitude, longitude. We won't talk about house placements here. We will talk about the overall energy of this day. And that's the new moon in the sign of Leo. It's right there. So that gives us great insight. And what does that tell us? The new moon in Leo is here to inspire us to be bold, to be brave, to be courageous. This new moons are always wonderful opportunities to sit down, and don't do this before the new moon. This is once we get to the new moon and a few days afterward. But this one is a little tricky. That's why we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde here, planets changing signs, things like that. But in a nutshell, that new moon in Leo is a fixed fire sign. And the way I see this and the way it represents to me is just an opportunity for us to figure out what we're passionate about. There's just a lot of passions running really high in the world these days, especially in this country. But I want to bring it back to us, right? Bring it back to the individual person. Okay. You bring it back to you. What is it that you are missing? Where do you need to find new spark, new passion? And even if you can't answer that question yet, that is what I would recommend, that if you love to journal, which you should journal at new moons, always at new moons, because every new moon starts a very long cycle, the lunar gestation cycle. It lasts for 4 9-month increments, which equal 3 years. And every new moon, we're here. We're told in pop astrology tells us, set your intentions, set your intentions, set your intentions. And that's true. However, the moon is dark at the new moon, and that just represents opportunity for us to be quiet for just a little while, be quiet, to settle into this new moon energy, the new moon in Leo. And to get back to where I started, it's like it's about being, where am I passionate? What am I passionate about? And being and taking that passion and expressing it through your own through your creativity. We really want to do that. And I think that is one of the key components to using this new moon in Leo in a very productive way. Because as you can see on the screen, this is from my latitude, longitude. So don't worry about the house placements. Um, it's going to be at a different time depending on your time zone. But it is going to be at 12 degrees of Leo in 34 minutes. So this middle section of Leo, besides being ruled by the sun, it is also, Jupiter has a little say in here too, right? A little bit of Sag, a little bit of Jupiter has a say in that second decan. And so the mix of all of these things, that's a bit more astrology than I think you wanted to hear, but what it represents is an opportunity. It's a sextile to Jupiter, this new moon. It gives us that chance, excuse me, to be expressive, and especially in our words. How can we express what we're passionate about? And using our hands too, because that's Gemini energy as well. And I'm talking about Geminis because the new moon is in the second decan. That second decan, besides being ruled by Leo in the sun, is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's in Gemini. That gives us all of this information. It helps us to go a little deeper into what's the best way to be creative. It's to write things down. It's to use your hands. It's to use your words to be expressive. So pick the category. Excuse me a second. That microphone is not working well. Pick the creative expression that resonates with you, whether it's painting, art, whether it's drawing, whether it's singing, whether it's creating and sharing a blog post, a newsletter, any of these things, that's what we want to do. But since we're in this really sensitive new moon phase, I'm going to circle things. Since we're in this really sensitive new moon stage, because it's like a brand newborn baby, the first thing we do is just, once that baby comes out, is, skin to skin. So the baby can just, recover from that process. Whenever we have a new moon, it's time to be a little quieter. It's not about announcing and initiating new things immediately. It's about seeing how you can plant that seed and what delicate situation that it is in. So with this new moon in the second decan, making a sextile to this Mars Jupiter, it really is this Mars Jupiter. It's an opportunity here for us to really journal and to set those goals and intentions in a really productive way. Take your time. You don't have to be so set with these goals this time around, but playing and being creative, that is going to be the best medicine right now, because that Mercury is stationary. Here it is. Oops, nope, I don't have my marker on. That Mercury is stationary now. It will be retrograde. If you live on the west coast of the US, it's at 10 p.m. on the 4th. And if you're on the east coast like I am, it's just before 1 a.m. on August 5th. So Mercury is stationary. So I'm asking you to write things down, to journal, to be creative through your words, through your writing, through all the things I just said. And with Mercury retrograding soon, and even Venus at the very end of Leo in this chart, this gives us a great opportunity to just write things down and really hash things out. It's like writing the title of something, and then slowly through, thought and written word and processing, you start to hash out, like you've got the title of a book, the premise of a book or a thought or a process or a project or an idea. A new moon with these types of configurations with it tells me that it's like, write the big idea out and then just allow the creativity to flow. But slowly through this first new moon phase in the lunar gestation cycle, it lasts 9 months. But through this lunar phase, we have a chance to slowly but surely hash out the direction that this new thought, this new creative idea can come through, this new passion of yours. Everybody can define the way they're creative and passionate in their own ways. Everybody has that within them. And since there's so many other tumultuous things going on, this is a piece of not just the new moon, because we like to isolate. When we talk about things like this, we tend to isolate just a couple of things because that's what you're looking for. And so we just tend to isolate, oh, this is a new moon, or this is a full moon, etc. But over the next few weeks, well, actually, it's just a couple of days. When does Mars and Jupiter come together? I forget the exact date. I have already talked about it in my weekly forecasts with my Patreon. You guys should come and join me there if you aren't there already. This goes on Patreon first. Yeah, August 14th, Mars and Jupiter will come together. So that just means over the first couple of weeks of August, after this new moon, August 4th, and for about 10 days, as these two are coming together, we have this opportunity to do, like I just mentioned, write things out, sort of tease out more information as to, specific things. It's like creating a business plan, but create that business plan for whatever projects you're working on, or a way to get, what the best way to do this is. Let me just stop the share. One of the best ways for us to use this new moon energy is to, because we're stuck and we're stressed and the world is divided, and we're divided in this nation, and you may even feel divided between you and family members or you and friends. And if that is your story, if that is the truth, I want you to be creative. But you can say, I don't know how to be creative, Dorothy. What do you mean? And you write down something nice and big, something general. It's like, I would like to be able to, and fill in the blank for your life. I'm not going to tell you how to use this. I'm not that astrologer online. I want your chart in front of me if I'm going to tell you how you can use this, right? So I can see the bigger picture. I'm not that pop astrologer that's going to tell everybody and every zodiac sign how they should use this, because I don't know your chart and I can't tell you. So it's your job to fill in that blank. Where are you creative? I'm more creative with my words. I believe I am. This forecast, by the way, will be written out so you can actually read it paragraph to paragraph, because right now I'm just flowing with what I'm feeling about this new moon. Join my newsletter and you'll get it in your inbox every 2 weeks. I'm not a mass marketer, so you're only going to get those newsletters once you join. So put that what you want to be passionate about right now. I mean, again, I need to create more content. I need to, do more blog posts, whatever it is. I haven't thought about it for myself personally yet, but I want you to do that for yourself. And you can think about it between now and August 4th, because right now, as I post this, I'm posting this the end of July, we're in a waning lunar phase. So you can process and think about this, but come back on the new moon and watch this a second time. And that will inspire you, I hope, to, get out your pencil. I use a pencil. I'm a Gemini. I'm always erasing everything. So I'm a Gemini. I'm going to use a pencil so I can change my mind. I love doing that. I rarely write with a pen. If I have to sign my name to something, I will. But whatever your thing is, what do you want to do? That's the assignment. Where do you need a spark in your life? You know, do you need a new partner, some new passion in your personal life? Do you need some passion, like really infused into your career, your work, new projects? What is it that you need to do? So that's up to you to decipher and to understand in your own life. Answer that question for yourself. And then over the next, whatever period of time, this first lunar gestation cycle, each one is 9 months long. So we do have some time. But if you like just to use the week to week ones, we have, 3 or 4 days for you to really initiate something that, I'm not going to initiate anything during new moons. I never initiate during new moons. I look at what I want and then I process it until the lunar phase is a little brighter, right? As we're getting closer and closer to the first quarter, between the first quarter and the full moon is when I like to initiate things, mainly just before the full moon in that gibbous stage. But I digress. It's okay not to know exactly what you want to do. It's okay not to know where your passions lie, because this new moon can inspire that. Mercury stationary and moving retrograde, it will give us an opportunity, because Mercury will move. No, it won't. Because Mercury, I mean, it moves back into Leo, but it doesn't get back to the new moon placement. Yeah, it retrogrades back to 21. I will attach on YouTube. I will attach the Mercury retrograde post to this one, so you'll be able to just click right on it because it'll be next. That Mercury retrograde, as it initiates its retrograde August 4th and 5th through August 28th, happens again right at that new moon. It gives us a chance to evaluate what we're passionate about. So this new moon, that's why it's a little bit tricky. What are your goals? Fill in the blank. And then as Mercury is retrograding and then it comes back, that whole piece, it's not involved with the new moon. It's just happening at the new moon. You will have an opportunity to either revive something that has been put on the back burner because life got too busy, or you'll be able to finally realize it's like, I really just don't want to have a pottery studio anymore. And you decide to sell everything and shut it down. People do make those choices about their creative expressions and their creative endeavors. At some point, you slowly get past. I used to do like Viking wire weaving, but I can't do it anymore. I used to do a lot of sewing. I don't have a sewing machine anymore. I used to make costumes, things like that. So there are plenty of creative processes that you loved, and it's time to let them go. So we have a nice mixture of both in this new moon in Leo, and because of the connection it has to the Mercury retrograde. Yeah, there's a few threads that go to it. We're all done right there. Newsletter, come join the website, come join the newsletter email list, And I would love to see you over in Patreon and here on YouTube. Well, this goes to Patreon first, but I'm talking to you now, YouTubers. All the stuff goes up early there, and you can join membership over there. I would love to have you there. That is just a really simple, inexpensive way to support my content because I'm not one of those big marketers. So it would each person counts, and I really appreciate every one of you. It's just me, and I reply to everything. All right, blessings, everybody, and thank you so much for your support. Namaste.